Happy Labor Day, everyone. It's BJ back on your screens. So let's talk. Today, we're going to talk about a few different topics, including Labor Day and health issues in the African American community and the larger American community. My cousin asked me to talk about health on today. And, health is a very general topic to discuss. There's so many different areas, but I can tell you from my personal and family experiences that as Americans, we need to do better with our health, right? We need to start our children young, eating more vegetables, fresh vegetables, teaching them how to eat more raw vegetables if possible, carrots and broccoli and cauliflower and other things, teaching them how to eat more fresh fruits and exercising more. Something that happened in my life is I was bone thin, and I mean bone thin, until I was about 35 years old. I ate anything and everything that I wanted. I partied with my friends many nights a week, as I told you in previous videos. So that means I was drinking lots of alcohol, which was what we call empty calories nowadays. So I was doing all of these things and had no issue with weight. I was also, because I was partying, I was dancing 4 or 5 nights a week for several hours at a time. So yes, I was burning quite a few calories, as well as working and or going to school during the day. But then I noticed at 35, my weight started to change slightly. So then I started to exercise. I was running several miles a day, several days a week. I started watching and monitoring the foods that I ate. And so I was able to correct the weight gain issues because they were very slight and my metabolism was still pretty good at that time. Fast forward to now, I'm in my mid 50s and I have to be much more careful. I have to walk, many thousands of steps in a day whenever possible. I have to do weightlifting when I can. I have to do different exercises. And the body is still not quite where it needs to be, but it moves me in the right direction. So we have to eat better. And one of the things I can say that as an African American is that many of the foods that African Americans hold near and dear to our hearts are foods and traditions and recipes handed down by our ancestors, many of whom were enslaved, and most of whom were eating scraps or leftovers from what they called the big house, where the master of the plantation and his wife and family lived. We didn't get the best parts of the cow or the pig. We were given the scraps and parts that the other people didn't want to eat, and we had to figure out a way to make a meal out of that. And through those trying and difficult times of slavery, making a meal out of what was left became what we call soul food. And many people to this day hold those recipes and traditions near and dear to our hearts. Unfortunately, a lot of those foods are not good for us, especially in the ways that they're prepared. The good news is there are some great young cooks and chefs out there who've made a concerted effort to cook the foods that we love in healthier ways with less sodium, less fat and grease and things like that, right? So I'm not going to harp on that too long because I know my comments will be lit up with folks saying, "How dare you attack soul food?" Trust me, I'm not attacking soul food. You won't meet another person alive that probably likes soul food more than me. But what I've learned is all things in moderation, right? The other thing is movement. We've got to move. In this day and age, especially after the pandemic, I noticed that I became more sedentary. For about a year, I was in the house. I was told not to leave the house unless it was an absolute emergency, to get groceries or something like that. Otherwise, I was told to stay in the house. We were all told, stay in the house, stay secure if you can. And only essential personnel were folks that were really, allowed to move around freely. So I stayed in the house and then something clicked and it became very comfortable. I have a huge sectional sofa. It's about 10 feet long. I'm like 6'2". So my huge sectional and, with the big screen TV during the pandemic. And then I wasn't working during the pandemic, most of the pandemic. That's the big thing too. So then I became just really sedentary and changed my lifestyle. And then it changed my body and I really started to notice it. So now I'm in the process of becoming more active again. Like I said, walking 3 or 4 days a week, making sure I get those steps in, doing lifting some weights, not heavy weights, but smaller weights. And of course, eating less. And then the foods I do eat, making sure that I monitor what I'm putting into my body. Still once or twice a week, allowing myself to have something that is something I genuinely like, but even then, having it in moderation. So that's all I want to say about health. And I just want to say that as a nation, as the United States, I can tell you we need to do a lot better, right? When I travel, for example, last year I spent 5 months in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro. And during that 5 month period, I started to lose weight automatically because I was out almost every day walking along the beach. The foods there are far less processed, more natural. And I noticed that they don't allow a lot of the chemicals and food dyes in their foods that are allowed by the FDA here in the United States. Same thing when I was in Germany. I spent a month in Germany for work many years ago, and I started to lose weight there automatically because I wasn't car dependent. I was walking, and the foods there again, they don't allow for many of the chemicals and the ultra processed foods to be sold to their German citizens. So just something that, each of us, because our government does allow these things to be sold to us, and because a lot of times those ultra processed foods are less expensive and often tasty, we have to be responsible for what we put into our bodies and be more careful with that. And if you have kids, try to begin teaching them at a very young age to eat healthier, to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, and to continue exercising and drinking a lot of water. A lot of us are dehydrated. I am not a doctor, but this is what my doctor told me on a recent visit. A lot of us Americans are dehydrated. We're drinking everything except water. We're drinking things with flavorings and sugars and chemicals added, and we think, okay, I'm getting lots of fluids in my body. But guess what? If it's not water, it doesn't count in the same way. So make sure you're drinking your water too. Now, today is Labor Day, and in honor of Labor Day, I'm wearing my Juneteenth shirt. It's from a company called Tacoma, Washington, ETC, Tacoma, Washington. They make lots of t-shirts and sweatshirts and great gear. A black-owned company out of Tacoma, Washington. I got this a few years ago from them. I keep hoping they'll put out another one. I even messaged them, I think last year or year before last, hoping they might make another one, and they didn't, but it's okay. Today I'm also wearing my 2024 Team USA Olympics hat. I had to have this when I saw it. I saw some of the Team USA athletes wearing their gear, and I was like, okay, I gotta have something from this year's Olympics. I've wanted to go to the Olympics so badly this year, but when I go to do something, I like to do it, 5-star first class, and that was not in my budget this year. I wanted to go to a minimum of 10 different events, and I wanted to sit courtside at the basketball games, field side at the track and field games, and some of those tickets for the best seats, either courtside or field side, were in the thousands. And by the time I priced tickets for 10 events, plus accommodations for 10 days, and food and and the airfare, it was out of my range at this time. So I'll try to make the Los Angeles Olympics in 2028. That is a goal. I'll be able to save lots of money there because my good friend will be living out there by that time. I can stay at his place and save a lot of money on that, and then just concentrate on attending the track and field and other sporting events that I'll be interested in. So looking forward to that. Now, today is Labor Day in the United States, and the history of Labor Day is very interesting because, like many things in the United States, African Americans played a large part in the founding of the original Labor Day celebrations. I also found in my research that, unfortunately, African Americans are not always credited with the things that we've done in this country, with the things that we founded, the things that we've discovered, the things that we've designed or created. Many times the credit was literally stolen from us or taken from us, or the credit was given to someone else. The names of the Black persons involved in the design, creation, and founding of different things in this country have often been erased or tossed away. And now we have states like Texas and Florida who are rewriting history in their textbooks and wanting to erase the African American contributions to this country. And let's be clear on this Labor Day in 2024. There would be no United States in the way that it is today, known as the great world power that it is, without the contributions of America. Even in the times of African Americans being enslaved, our labor contributed to the wealth building process that created this country. In the world wars, in World Wars I and II, in Vietnam and Korea, our Black soldiers were often on the front lines. In fact, the first person killed in the American Revolution was Crispus Attucks, a Black man. That's something that's not always taught in public schools. So rest assured that Black people have contributed to this country and continue to. And when you hear people saying that we haven't contributed, that our contributions have been minimal, and that the United States would have been great without us, I highly doubt it. Would there be a United States without us? Sure. Would it be the United States that you know today, the world power that you know today, without the contributions of African Americans since the beginning? I don't think so. There was even a Black man on the ship with Christopher Columbus when he was navigating his way to what we call now the New World. So this talk on today was about several different topics, I know, and I kind of went all over the place, but it's my platform and sometimes I'm going to do that. So thank you all for putting up with me today. It's been fun. I'll be back on Wednesday. On Wednesday, we're going to return to discussions about my travels, and I'll probably continue that for several more episodes. And then I'll be looking forward to your suggestions in the comments to let me know what you might want to hear me talk about in the upcoming weeks and months. So thank you for listening today. As always, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you all on Wednesday. Have a great one. Take care, and thanks for your support. Peace.